That's your fault. That's like actively your fault, and I don't want to hear
Yeah.
anything. Hello, hello, guys. Welcome
Don't-
to episode 24 of Parents versus Gaming. It's typically on James's channel. If you don't know, it's a little podcast that we run. That's all the things that I every Sunday I'm like, oh, I gotta go because I gotta be in the podcast. But it's here because he is. Where are you right now?
I'm in Turks and Caicos.
He's just living it up, living the dream. No, I'm kidding. He's out working right now. So we will have him audio, but we don't have his video. Jay unfortunately could not make it, so we have Ender. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
I am doing good. Thank you for having me again.
That's awesome. Can you introduce yourself? You know what you do?
Yeah, I'm Ender. You can check me out at Twitch, EnderGaming_live. I go live there. We actually got some new stuff coming. We're going to start a gaming news right before we do any gameplay. So we'll have gaming news coming out first. So if anyone wants to check that out, we'll have that there. And can also find me on YouTube at EnderGaming_live.
Nice, nice. Your mic sounds so crisp. I love it. Just to let you know, I love it.
Thank you.
And James, how's your week going?
My week's going good. It's been crazy busy. I'm here in Turks and Caicos at Beaches doing my actual job, and I've done nothing but live interviews and webinars and just trying to promote our resort to travel advisors that I work with. So it's been a lot of work. It sounds super exotic most of the time. During the day where it's 105, I'm running around in a suit outside, just drenching in sweat.
Yeah,
But I do get to enjoy, drinks and food at night, and starting tomorrow morning, I'm officially on vacation for 4 days, so it was worth it in the end.
Nice, and I get really pretty
Nice,
pictures.
nice.
Makes me jealous, but at least I don't have to run around in a suit, sweating my butt off, you know?
Yeah, my girlfriend joined me today, so we're
Aw.
here. So Milena is here, so it should be a blast.
Nice, that will be so much fun. As for me, honestly, I don't remember what I did this week. All the days are blending together. Today, my mom had a housewarming, so we got everything ready for that. We were up pretty early setting up for that, and then we just had a bunch of like family and friends over and stuff like that, which was really fun. And then I took a nap because I was so tired. And then
Nice.
I gamed for like an hour. I actually had to FF my last game because it was cutting it too close. And of course, I'm late per usual. I'm very sorry, James. I try not to make it late to the podcast, but this time, since I was running it, things happen.
No, it was on your time frame then. You're running it. He's off, on vacation,
on
and doing all that
vacation,
fun
doing
stuff.
whatever he wants
So
to
it's
do.
it's your time frame. This is your show now.
All right, so today's topic is actually YouTube versus Twitch, given the fact that Dr. Lupo and Tim decided to leave Twitch. Do you have any thoughts on that, Ender? Like the them leaving per se, not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting in the fact that they both kind of had the same reasoning for leaving. When you listen, when you read into what they're saying, you have more time with their family.
Yeah.
They don't have to stream as much. They get to make the same type of money. So I thought that was like really kind of interesting there. That they both had those same answers. I'd read a couple of articles too on the Dr. Lupo version of that. Is that they supposedly Twitch really lowballed them. Him on the contract and things like that, which is kind of surprising,
Is it though?
But then Tim shocked me. Like I wasn't expecting the Tim to tab in to move. Like I wasn't expecting that. And I was really surprised there that Twitch, kind of seemed like it was a mutual breakup. Like they didn't really say much. They're just like, yeah, we really liked him and hope the best for him. So I'm just wondering if that was went to him and said like, hey, I'm going to be leaving, and if you here's the number to match, and they're like, nope, sorry, you can't do that. We'll see you later. I don't know, but it's I don't know if it's a good thing for Twitch or bad, because it kind of makes way for some new guys to come through.
Yeah, no, I mean,
possibly to take that space.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm personally excited because I think it'll make it easier for smaller streamers to get larger on Twitch right now with the absence. Because even though I'm sure the majority of their audience is going to migrate over to YouTube, I also think that there will be just some people who prefer the streaming experience on Twitch that are going to be looking for new streamers as well. So I think that there's, ups and downs to that. I also saw that there were a lot of concerns about the smaller YouTubers on Twitch. Not words. The smaller streamers on YouTube were worried that now that they are getting bigger streamers going there, that all of a sudden their audience is going to go away. Do either of you guys have any thoughts on that?
I think that's a silly kind of. I don't know. I think that's kind of a silly misconception because, like you said, those guys are going over there. They kind of have built-in audiences. I think that if anything, it could bring people to notice YouTube gaming more. The thing, and I'm sure you're going to get into it a little bit later, is I find it funny that they're leaving because I know I've been kind of slowly working on doing a transition myself. I mentioned this about a month ago, and I said I kind of think this is the future, and I think you're going to see some big content make the jump. And everyone kind of laughed at me and said I was crazy. And within 2 months, two of the probably five biggest current, right now current Twitch guys have jumped over. I mean, obviously they got a big signing bonus. I don't know. I'm excited to hear your and Ender's take on, why you think YouTube would do this. I mean, look what Mixer did with Ninja and Shroud, and that was an absolute disaster. So is YouTube. I guess the biggest question is YouTube going to take these guys, take their feedback, and make the platform easier, which in turn would benefit smaller streamers on YouTube?
Yeah. I completely agree with you with that. Do you have a different take, Ender?
I don't know if I have a different take. I don't think it's a Mixer situation though. Like I've heard that a couple of times of like the Shroud move. Mixer was trying to build something like YouTube's not. YouTube's trying to get into a space that they haven't taken over, but these are guys that have a following on YouTube. Yeah, it's not like they're walking over here and this is the first time they're there. Their videos go there. They take their Twitch streams, they break it down, and they put it onto YouTube. So I feel like for the larger streamer, it's a good move for them because they're already there. They already have the fan base there. People are already looking at their videos and they can stream there and make video content faster. And if they're going to pay them the same contract to do the live streaming, and they can still pull the viewership. Like you look at Dr. Disrespect, he's not pulling the same viewership. He didn't just move with a contract or anything like that. The Twitch ban and who knows why he's suing them and all the other pieces there. But Dr. Disrespect's not pulling the same numbers, but Tim is. So like I think for Tim, he knew his following was going to come. It's a little bit different situation. But for a smaller streamer, I don't know if there's enough visibility and putting all your eggs in one basket of the YouTube basket. I mean, we had talked about this before. I was kind of on the fence looking at both. I'm kind of more leaning towards streaming on Twitch because of that community that's there. When you go to Twitch, you can find it. You know it's there. It doesn't have a great algorithm to be found. You're still fighting to get to the top, figuring out which games you want to do and all those pieces. But if you ask people like, where do you go watch a stream? They're probably going to say Twitch. They're not going to say YouTube. I couldn't even find YouTube streaming. Like the first time I went there, I consider myself pretty savvy with tech. I'm like, I don't even know where these games are at. Like I can't. And then one time I saw one that said it was live. I clicked on it and it was an 8-hour-long video. It wasn't even live. I'm like, what is going on here? So it was just super confusing. So I really do hope they take their guidance, Tim's and those guys' guidance on how to make it better. But I think once you have that following, once you have that, Harris Heller's another one who already had a YouTube following that just jumped as well. And I think it streamlined those guys' process and the way they work, and they already knew they were making the money there. So that's kind of where I stand. I think a combination might be great as you're growing, but it's a little different for the large streamers like Tim. And then you have, Nick Merckx now talking about how, he's signing the biggest deal of his life, but he can't talk about it. So, are we going to be talking about Nick Merckx moving a month from now? Who knows?
I mean, I feel like you're definitely going to be talking about Nick, and the reason is because his Twitch contract ends in September, and in my opinion, it doesn't benefit Twitch at all for him to pretend like he's going to YouTube just to turn around and announce at the end of September he's staying at Twitch. So in my opinion, if he was staying at Twitch, he would just announce, I'm continuing my relationship with Twitch. Like, no one would really care. You know, when an athlete, his contract ends next year, but he signs a 6-year extension, it's just announced then. You know, so in my opinion, it's kind of the same way, and I think he must be moving if he can't talk about it.
Yeah, and I can't imagine them.
I mean, I also,
like,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I can't imagine him saying something like signing the biggest deal of his life, you know, with Twitch, since Twitch obviously won't pay YouTube's prices to keep certain streamers, as we've seen before. So I can't imagine that it would be with Twitch that he would stay, but
Or he's talking about a deal that has like absolutely nothing to do with the streaming service, and it's like FaZe is giving him a different percentage or something like that. Like, because we're also not like is all of a sudden him and 100 Thieves good again? Like, is that happening? No, that's not happening. But you know, is it a deal with FaZe, or is it a deal with somebody else? That because with Nick, he's so diversified, you know, with how he works with FaZe, it really could be something like that. But I'm kind of leaning towards the whole thing of like he's going to be going over to YouTube, because that just seems to be who's throwing the money at these guys right now.
yeah. I think that YouTube is the future, like James said. It's just also, I think it's harder to build an audience on YouTube right now, just with streaming. I think you'd have to come out with a bunch of different content, which is actually what I had planned. I had planned over the next couple months to stream on Twitch, but then to have like completely different content on YouTube, including a bunch of different games, like a little bit more story-based games on my YouTube versus, you know, like my first-person shooters and stuff on Twitch, just to start building the audiences both at the same time, because I definitely don't want to give up on Twitch anytime soon, but, you know, life got in the way, and that was just too much. Like, I feel like doing both takes a lot of work, and just trying to build on YouTube, just streaming, I don't really know if that's the best route to take right now. I think definitely growing on Twitch is easier because that's where people know. But I think eventually YouTube's going to be that kind of place where they're like, damn, I wish I grew on YouTube instead of transitioning over now. Unless Twitch starts to step it up, which I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? I mean, they're losing big streamers and they're not listening to what even small streamers say about the platform, while YouTube's also now talking about their new features that they're going to be coming out with soon to help streamers. So it all just seems like YouTube's probably the best way to go right now if you can build an audience there, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, one of the things that I'd love, definitely, I know Ender's a little bit done a lot more research into this, and Jordyn, you've had more of a longer Twitch career per se than I have. But my question to you guys is, we've talked about this already. YouTube is YouTube, and it's one of the biggest platforms. You know, it's Google's platform. And like we talked about, the one thing you can't compare the Mixer with Ninja and Shroud to is that they were trying to build something. YouTube doesn't need to build something. So did YouTube, why, I guess is my question. Why are they throwing money at these guys? Like, I can't imagine YouTube became more valuable because Tim and Dr. Lupo and possibly Nick are now officially streaming over there. So what is the benefit? Why did this deal happen? It all comes down to money, right? The only reason YouTube is throwing this money at them is they see some sort of benefit in it. And what is that benefit?
I mean, storing their content exclusively on YouTube, because typically, like, if people watch your stream, your dedicated fans might go and watch the cut up version or whatever it is that your editor puts on, but the majority of people are not going to watch that on YouTube, so that's taking AdSense away from YouTube to begin with, along with the fact that I think that they really are trying to pave the way to be the best streaming service. That's why I agree with you when you say that YouTube's the future for streaming, because I really think that they are putting in the time and dedication to make it the better streaming service. It's just going to take some time to get there, of course, because it's relatively new. But I think that's why they're putting the money into these big streamers, because who's going to leave Twitch? Like, you're not going to have a bunch of small, I mean, you'll have like a couple, but you're not going to have a bunch of small streamers go to YouTube and not make a big difference. It's going to be these big guys that people feel leave a void at Twitch. You know what I mean? Like that's important, I think, in their strategy to make YouTube the better streaming service.
I agree that they're looking to make changes. My concern though is YouTube's ability to get out of YouTube's way and start to look at it as, okay, we have this streaming platform. We're going to have to put dedicated devs to this. We're going to have to put dedicated backend services. It's different than what we've done before. Our algorithm doesn't really understand it yet. It's proven by the way you find the searches and things like that. It struggles with it. They're going to have to put a lot of time and effort into making changes. Sometimes with something as large as YouTube, that's harder to do than something like Twitch, who is, by all means, a very agile, smaller company that could make the changes faster than YouTube. If they wanted to. Yeah. Now, Twitch hasn't made it. It hasn't looked like they've wanted to, and that's the problem. Is like they haven't been listening. Is these large guys leaving going to make them all of a sudden start to be like, okay, we've got to start making some of these changes? Maybe. But YouTube, I'm always afraid that they're just going to try to say like, okay, I'm going to get these guys over here. We're going to take these live streams and we just want them to turn that into video content that our algorithm can look through, and we can put AdSense on their video content. And it's like, okay, but they're already doing that for you. Like, so what's the point of bringing them over?
I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're really smart about it, and they've already talked about putting more features to make it easier for streamers, not just big streamers, but streamers in general.
But it's nothing revolutionary they're putting in there. They're just catching up. So like that's the piece. It's like, here, we're going to catch up, but what are they going to do different?
But I think YouTube has always taken care of their YouTubers. I mean, I think that people have always been like, I don't know. I tried to make it on YouTube and I couldn't, unfortunately, just because I find it more awkward. I think streaming's easier than recording and everything. But I mean, I've heard nothing but good stuff from them. And like I said, whenever I was doing my research, just because they're catching up doesn't mean that they're not listening or anything like that. I mean, the features that they have are better than Twitch already. Like, you can set your price whenever you get partnered, so you can control how much income you're making, versus Twitch, where it has like the set stuff. And I'm pretty sure once you're partnered, you already make 75%. You don't make the 50% that affiliates make on Twitch. It is harder to get partnered with YouTube, though.
It's significantly harder.
But you actually work for it and you earn it.
That's a good thing. I don't know if I to be completely honest, Twitch affiliate is too easy to get. I mean, with 10 days of really trying, I got Twitch affiliate. Like, I know some people go crazy and they can't get to that, but like, if you focus, you can get that pretty fast.
If you can
I got it in 7.
Yeah, you can get Twitch affiliate in a week, literally just by watching your own stream and getting 2 friends to put it on the background.
Yeah.
Only stream.
The hardest thing is just finding 50 people to click like,
follow.
Follow, which wasn't that hard with the, I'm not going to get into that part, but wasn't that hard with all the hate streaming that was going around and people just following people for no reason. It's like, oh, I'm going to delete you anyway, but
thanks, man.
I mean, that popped a lot of people up.
Yeah, you do one follow for follow Twitch, or not Twitch, but TikTok video, and you'll have 50 in an hour.
Yeah, I do agree that YouTube is going to be the future. I'm just wondering if Twitch will start to move their content in the right direction and start creating competition, because my fear is always that there's going to be no competition, that YouTube's just going to come in, do what they want to do, and you're going to watch this slow decline of Twitch and it's just going to kind of go away. I don't think it will that fast, but over course of time, because then there's no competition and then YouTube no longer has to listen to anybody.
Yeah. No,
they can just kind of do what they want. So like, having that competition there is great. And I think Google's done a great thing with YouTube because they are the dominant player and they continue to make YouTube better.
Yeah.
So they have a track record of, just because I'm the best, at doing this. I'm still going to listen. I'm still going to make it better. I can still make more money off of it. So they have that track record. It's just how long will they continue to put that into the live streaming since it's not their number one thing? You know, will they give it a dedicated dev team? Will they put into the money into it? Will they kind of branch it out of YouTube so it's kind of its own thing, not lost in its UI? You know, kind of pieces like that. Time will tell, but I think they're definitely the ones that will look to make it a better place holistically. I do my live stream, I clip my content into a video, I have all of these different places that I go to, but you even kind of watch with some of the other, not even in like the game streaming world. I watch a lot of fishing YouTubers, and it's kind of outside of the live stream stuff, but those guys have embarked into a lot of like podcasting, kind of like what you're doing here. They've watched their podcast destroy their channels because all of a sudden they put this new type of content that the algorithm doesn't understand. And then you already saw Tim have to make like 2 new channels almost. I think it's like even more Tim the Tap Man, more Tim the Tap Man, to put all of his different content because he is afraid of seeing that the live streams start killing the algorithm and the content. So like, is this something where you have to have your VODs in one place and be very strategic about not just managing one channel to do it all, but managing multiple channels? Like, can they find a way for that algorithm to understand the live content in different pieces? I think that's where that algorithm has to grow. And without getting these big streamers in, without getting people watching, it can't do that.
Right,
so
they wouldn't even probably notice the problem too much. It would be
probably
overlooked,
it wouldn't.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, with the smaller streamers, it's probably getting overlooked, and that's why they needed these big guys to come in and be like, let's start actually seeing what kind of discovery we can get here with someone that has, I don't know, what did Tim pull? 115,000 concurrent viewers at a time?
Yeah.
It was insane.
Crazy.
I mean, one thing, you know, Ender, before you joined us, we kind of got into this a little bit when I was discussing why I was thinking about switching over to YouTube full time. And I talked a lot about, you know, Snapchat came along, and Snapchat was huge. It was nothing like it, and it was the greatest thing ever. And then they had the Snapchat glasses, and you just like, it was like taking over the world, kind of like what TikTok's doing now. But if you noticed, if you really pay attention, I'm not saying Snapchat's necessarily completely dead, but it's not unique, because Facebook and Instagram, and now even Twitter, you can have stories, and you can do the exact same things that Snapchat did. Now, so the thing I think TikTok has been able to stay relevant is their discoverability is pretty good with their For You, and then you've got the followed side of it, so you can flip back and forth. So you have 2 different kinds of content you can flip through on TikTok, but then you can also go live on TikTok. Once you reach a certain amount of followers, you can also do all these other things. So they're staying relevant. So my argument about Twitch was it's kind of like the same thing. They have a streaming platform. They're a one-trick pony. The discoverability is decent, but it's not great. Now, if TikTok...
It's really not. It's non-existent. It's not even decent. Like, it's non-existent.
TikTok, to me, everyone says, even some of the best Twitch streamers, you want to grow your Twitch channel, you make TikTok content because TikTok is blowing up. Well, Twitch already has TikToks. They're called fucking clips. Yeah. And what cracks me up is I'm literally on it right now. I go to the browse section. Clips are all the way at the bottom on the homepage. And then it says popular clips. And they're like ones that all have over 40 to 100,000 views. It's like, okay, why doesn't Twitch just have something that I can just watch random clips, and I could watch clips from people that are live, and if I think that person's funny from that one clip, I can just click on that clip and it takes me right to their live stream. I think that's something that YouTube could implement, where they have the shorts that they're bringing in to compete with TikTok already that's starting to grow. It even says beta, which I've never seen anything on YouTube say beta consistently, but so obviously they're looking into that. So I think you could see a case where you're basically doing what you do on TikTok, but specifically on YouTube, where Instagram has Reels, but YouTube's calling them Shorts, and you're going to be able
to... I agree with you 100%. I think YouTube is thinking of an overall workflow, like in my mind of I go live I take the live video, the live stream, I turn it into videos, I turn it into shorts, I turn it into all those things, and it's all under one brand. And it's all discoverable through probably one of the greatest algorithms that's ever been created. But that algorithm sucks at diverse content.
Correct.
It is only good when it sees a trend in your content and it continues to feed that to people because they like this very specific thing. I'm sure, we're live now. So if we say something that we like, I'm sure if we go to our page, Google's going to tell us with an ad of whatever we were talking about tonight. That's going to be there. So they're just very good at that one thing. So they have to learn how to be good at diverse content because they're different lengths, they're different types of content. They're going after different people. So Twitch going after the one thing that they know well, which is live streaming. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do this first. They didn't really predict the future that well. They didn't utilize what they already had. Because they were making a ton of money and no one was that close to them. So like, here's where I think that competition comes into play of like, oh, okay. All right. There's a new person in town. YouTube wants to play. What are we going to do?
Hopefully they do something.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
If they do nothing, we're going to see a lot of people move. If they do something, we're going to see a little bit of a battle. If they do a lot, they might be able to, stay afloat longer.
Well, do you think this is a Twitch, or do you think this is an Amazon versus Google? Is Google going in?
I think it's Twitch versus YouTube at that point. I think you got the main companies that own these guys may have some say, but not as much as you think at the end of the day. They work as their own. I mean, it's a subsidiary to Amazon. It's not an Amazon company.
I mean, I can't even imagine if I opened my Twitch app and there was like a section for clips and it was like TikTok that I could scroll through them, I would be on Twitch for hours. Because I'm on TikTok just for the gaming clips. That's literally the only reason I'm on TikTok. Like, they could hold so much audience retention if they put ads on it and stuff. Like literally I'm on Twitch Talk. Like, that's the only thing that I watch on TikTok. So they could keep their viewers here for so much longer, I think. Just with that little feature.
Well, there was another interesting thing that this whole brings up is just like that ability to do that, and they've known that for so long, but again, it's like they didn't make any change. Like, we're just going to keep this platform the same. We're not going to change anything. We're just gonna run with it, which is scary, and they didn't get ahead of it. They lost some big name guys. Is Nick going to move? Who knows? I don't know if today is the greatest time for a smaller streamer to go. I think they've got to build some of those features in to really make it worthwhile for a smaller streamer to make the move. Especially in their live stream. Like, so let's just say like someone that only has, 50 or 60 people following them, they try to make the jump to YouTube, they're gone. Like, no one's finding them inside of that YouTube beast unless they already have like a good YouTube following and the algorithm knows who they are.
But the problem is that you could say the exact same thing for Twitch. All you have to do is create content on TikTok. And a lot of people say create content on TikTok and YouTube. So if you're already creating some
I don't think
content,
the YouTube content drives as much. I don't think the crossover from YouTube to Twitch is as big as a lot of people out there that say, like, if you go out with watching Harris Heller, he's like, no, you got to make YouTube content in order to grow. I'm like, I
think it's more
TikTok.
TikTok. I think
it's more
YouTube
TikTok.
Can help, but I do think that TikTok is,
I just know I go to YouTube to watch a video. I go to TikTok to find things that I might want to go watch somewhere else, like streams.
But that's what I'm saying,
and when I go to Twitch, I go for the stream. That's it.
But if someone was smaller and was trying to make it on YouTube streaming, all they'd have to do is the exact same thing that you should try to do to start, streaming on Twitch, which is literally TikTok. Because what's the difference from you putting a YouTube link in your profile of your TikToks and a Twitch link?
That'd be interesting. That would be interesting.
That. Yeah.
I wonder if that crossover is the same. It may or may not be.
Well, from TikTok, I think from TikTok you can go following from literally anywhere. Like people literally just post like a reel of their Instagram and get like, once they have a following, like a bunch of followers on Instagram for no reason,
Yeah.
So like I think it would be just as easy, because it's not easy, it's still a lot of hard work, but it would be just the same if you end up putting your YouTube little streaming thing on there, as long as you're making the content for people who want to watch streams. And that's the thing. You just have to know your audience and how to relate to them and get them to
I think you're
you.
going to see a different type of streaming come to YouTube, though.
What do you think?
I think you're going to start seeing more of kind of what James and I were talking about. You're going to see more of a show type stream where there's going to be segments, there's going to be bits and pieces. I don't think you're going to see as much like pure gaming streams that on YouTube that you see before, because I think what you can really do there is use your live stream and then really break it down to the rest of your content. And I think you're going to see those types of streamers and more of that very content based stream, not as much of just gameplay stream and things like that on YouTube. It's going to require a little bit more planning just to be able to survive on the YouTube ecosystem. It is interesting. I think we're all kind of on the same page. I think we're happy with the fact that there's some competition. We all think YouTube's probably going to be the way to go. I think I'm just a little bit more skeptical of like the timing. Like, when is that going to be the right place to go? And those pieces, I don't think anyone really knows. I think it's up to your content put into it. I think if you're a grinder and you're going to be making content, you're going to be doing things like that. I mean, it was very interesting to hear Tim say that he feels like he's now a medium-sized fish in a giant pond. Whereas in Twitch, he was the giant fish in the small pond. Like he was one of the top guys.
Yeah.
There were some over him, he's top 10, but now going over to YouTube, it's like, yeah, that he's not that as big of, he's the biggest streamer.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else that's pulling more than him. There probably is a Minecraft person over there or something like that that's pulling more. Like, Minecraft streams are insane, the amount of people that those guys can pull.
That's so weird.
But when you look at like YouTube and their followers, it's pretty small. Like, I mean, he's in the middle.
Yeah.
So how far is he going to be able to grow? Where we look at him coming from the streaming world, like, oh man, that's the top of the game. We all want to get there. And now he's saying he's at the middle of the pack on YouTube. And I'm sitting here thinking, if Tim thinks he's at the middle, like, how far at the end am I? like how far down this totem pole did I just fall because of this?
I think this is the where it's going to differ. Is he's saying he's a small fish or medium fish, but he's comparing himself to content creators and not streamers. If he just compares himself to a live streamer on YouTube, he is still a big fish. And when you,
but I think you have to compare yourself to the content creators, because as of right now, that's what it's focused on.
Right, that is what it's built for, and I think that's probably what's exciting for anyone who switches over is the potential. You know what I mean? Especially the bigger ones, the potential to start where you are now and technically not be that big, to see how much you can grow. Sav did make a couple comments in the stream, so I'm gonna point those out. So he was pretty much just asking why Twitch can't implement things better for random clips, because YouTube lacks the setting for a diverse set of content on a channel, versus Twitch can support that, because pretty much on Twitch, you're finding the person, right? Like, that's kind of like you're finding the game or whatever like channel you want, but pretty much once you fall in love with a person, they can stream whatever. Versus YouTube, like you guys said, their algorithm can't really handle diverse content. So yeah, he was just making a comment on how he wishes Twitch would implement things better, I believe.
YouTube kill it if they figure out how to do what they do now, merge it with live streaming, and do it somehow, make it work. I don't know. Obviously, that
I have full faith in it, but that's just me.
Twitch has one variable it uses: viewership.
Yeah.
One. Like that, if Twitch just added something else, but it really only has one thing. It's viewership. Like at the end of the day, it's not how many, if maybe they come back and how many people rewatch or do any of those other things. It's not what they're built for. It's a one trick pony at the end of the day of the more people that watch, the more we're going to push that stream because we want to take 50% of the ad revenue.
Right.
Like
that's
what we want.
Like, they take more than 50%.
Well, I think 90% of the ad revenue. I think it's 90% of the ad revenue off of that.
Yeah.
And then we're going to take 50% of the subs and everything else.
So.
Whereas, I think that's why YouTube makes it harder for you to get to that because they do take a smaller percentage. But the other thing that you're also watching YouTube do is all of the other smaller content creators that can't get to, they're making their money off of that because they're still putting ads on your videos.
Yeah, but
they're still putting all that in front of it.
But you are making more money off of your ads. You're also
only when you get to that level. So how many people haven't made it to where they're making money and they're still creating revenue for YouTube itself as well?
Once you hit 10,000 followers, you can control your own sponsorships, which on Twitch you still can't do that. I can't just have a sponsor say anything to me, and I can't do that on Twitch. That would be
I'm more thinking of the content creation. Like they're still making so much money off of that content creation by putting ads in front of all of these videos everybody's creating that they're not paying out at that point. So I think they have that flexibility of paying the top people more and giving you that bigger percentage because they have so much more of content to be able to do.
Right.
When you look at the average Twitch streamer has three viewers. Like if you take all of it and you look at that, whereas
but again, that's their problem. That's their problem.
I know, but
their problem. You know what I mean? If they worked on it, then
I guess what I'm trying to say is that's why I think YouTube is going to start grabbing these midline people, grabbing the people that already have the followings, and moving them over there to streaming. Because let's just say you have a YouTube channel right now that is getting paid out. That's a partner, but you're still streaming over on Twitch. Now might be a good time to start thinking about switching and moving over there because of all the benefits you get if you can bring your audience over with you. I'd be interested to see if they can bring it. I wonder if the mid-level streamer can bring their audience with them.
I think they would lose some, but the thing is, most people have a YouTube.
Harris said he lost half. Harris Heller said he lost half.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It dropped in half.
But I think it's also because people who watch his streams watched it for Twitch. He made all of his content about helping people grow on Twitch and helping people grow on social media, but it was all focused on Twitch. So someone who
was focused on live stream, but he happened to be on Twitch at that time, so he said Twitch.
But of course,
you take all his videos and remove Twitch and drop YouTube in it, and it's all the same content.
But it doesn't matter because he did brand it as Twitch. So the people, they were looking to grow on Twitch. There's still, like you said, there's so much more of an algorithm on YouTube than there is on Twitch. So people want to know how to get the viewership, and that's the reason that they were there. But I do still find it crazy that he lost half because the fact that he did literally grow everyone on YouTube pretty much. And also everyone has a YouTube app on their phone. Like it comes with your phone versus Twitch. You have to download it, So it is kind of crazy that more people don't switch over. But it might just be, nostalgia right now because Twitch was, has been the streaming platform.
And there's one last thing I think, and just to the last comment on this piece is that going back to Tim and listening to, I think it was his third stream in, where he was talking about how he would explain what he did for a living. And he would try to tell somebody what he did for a living, and he'd be like, yeah, I live stream on Twitch. And they're like, what's that? Oh, well, I'm a YouTuber. Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. He wasn't. That's not what he did. He was a live streamer, but just in order to explain what I have to do, I have to use the other person's name for anyone to understand what I'm doing. That's cause for concern there as well, is that I don't think I could go up to my mom and be like, hey, I'm trying to make it as a Twitch streamer. She could be like, what is this? What are you doing?
That his grandmother was watching him do something live for the first time ever.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because she has the YouTube app. She knew how to use it.
Yeah.
Now she might not have been able to find the stream, when they fixed that.
We talk about losing viewership, but how much can you gain from and this goes back to if they can somehow merge what they do now with their algorithm that recognizes live streaming, if they can merge those two worlds together successfulully, then I think you have the potential to grow quicker on YouTube than anyone ever did on Twitch.
Yeah.
Naturally on YouTube versus putting in a lot of work on Twitch.
Yeah, because the algorithm, of course. Yeah.
I mean, who's done it naturally that didn't have a large YouTube following first? Like, we haven't seen that yet.
I mean, we haven't seen that because they obviously haven't gotten bigger yet, but
yeah,
so that's new, so that doesn't really count, though.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, when we go in and we look at it, we look at the guys of like, oh, they're the top end YouTube streamers. We're like, they're the top content guys, and they started using the streaming algorithm. This is the first time we probably are going to start to see that I'm a streamer first, and I'm going to grow on this platform. So I'm very interested to watch that growth and how people do that. And, like, you guys were saying before, like, yeah, it could be faster than you could ever have imagined on Twitch with the algorithm getting a hold of you, with these changes coming. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting in the next, 2 or 3 years, because you got to really give them some time to make these changes. They're not going to go fast.
Yeah.
When you look at the speed of making a change to a platform that large and making sure that you don't break anything with your current group that's paying the bills right now. Like, you don't want to piss off your content creators while you're trying to do this streaming thing right now.
And let's hope that doesn't become an issue, because it might.
I'm on YouTube now, and if you look at you click on the little 3 bars on the top left just on your computer, you've got your subscriptions that come up. You've got home, explore, subscriptions, your library, history, your videos. You got all your stuff. Then you've got a row of subscriptions in the spot that you would see on Twitch of like all your followers that are currently live. And then below that, you've got the YouTube Premium, gaming, live. You can go live yourself. If I click on gaming, then it just takes me to a gaming homepage, shows me a bunch of games and the viewership count, so I could click on those. And then underneath, it shows basically like popular clips or live streams. But of those, I have 10 of them that show up on the homepage, and only one of them has a currently live tag underneath it. There is no like list of like all the people I subscribe to, and like I have no idea if anyone I'm subscribed to right now, if they're live. I can click on Twitch and know that.
You would. They would have on your side. You would be able to see, because I saw that today. When I went to YouTube. I'm subscribed to the World of Warcraft, and World of Warcraft was at the top of my subscriptions with the live symbol, and I clicked on it and they were live.
Nice.
So like I could see that. So that's already there. Like I know that for a fact that's how that was working, because I saw it today.
It just seems a lot more like it's not you have to look for it though. It's kind of what I'm.
Well, I mean, it was just on the side. Like it's in the same spot I would look for the little dot to say someone has new content.
Gotcha.
So like it was no different there. And they actually got moved to the top, because like World of Warcraft's W. It's the bottom of the list. It's the last thing I would have looked at, but they're at the top live.
It filters them up.
Yeah, so it filters them up. So I think that was a quick change that they made for at least your subscribers. Someone that's followed, is following you at that point, to move that on the sidebar, because that's the only way I know anyone's live. But the thing is, it's just like, for me, what Twitch lets me do is just search for people and just scroll through and jump into a stream and do that. And again, it just took a while to find it. I think they'll figure it out. Like, they've made a lot of UI changes. They'll figure out the UI, how to get it up front and be able to see it. Again, I just, is it their number one thing, or is it going to be number two? If it's a number two thing, then I don't think they outrun Twitch if Twitch decides it wants to put a lot of money into it and focus on making the changes. If they're looking at it as a number two to YouTube, and if they're looking at this as like 1A and 1B, I think YouTube definitely will be able to outrun them, because, video's their world. Being from the other side, again, trying to start my stream on YouTube sucked. Like, it was not as easy.
Oh.
It's not as easy as just like one click, I'm ready to go. Twitch is a whole lot easier just to get your stream started, and there's a lot of other changes you had to do with YouTube. Like I thought I started my stream, but then I didn't really start my stream.
Oh no.
Like so it was like super weird there. It's like I hit start stream, but it's still a blank screen and it never actually, so you have to start it twice. And again, it's all the learning curve of how to do it. But it was super interesting there. But then on the flip side, it had all of that discovery content you could put in your tags, put in all this stuff, put everything there. And it's like, oh, this could actually get found after the fact. Like someone could find this. Like it. So on both sides, it's super interesting. I don't know if I'll make the jump, but then again, I don't know why it would hurt to not do it as well. Like I don't have a following over on Twitch to where it matters to losing things. It would be interesting just to see what happens.
Yeah, if you start creating content elsewhere, I think that it, could be something. Sam said YouTube just needs to make pages more live pages more accessible. Just because if you have a lot of subscribers, then the live icons can get kind of lost. I completely agree with that.
Agree, 100%.
Well, guys, I think that was a great discussion. It is 11 p.m. I'm so sorry that we started late. But I think, are we good to wrap it up? Did anyone else have any last thoughts?
I think you're very good. We'll be back next week. I believe Ender is going to join us again. Hopefully we'll have Jay as well. It's going to be a 4-person thing. I'll be back in the States, and we are going to revisit our old podcast discussion that we had on the Epic versus Apple. I believe a ruling came through. I think there's going to be an appeal. So that's what we're going to go into next week. I think there's a lot to talk about because even if you're not necessarily into gaming, I think this ruling affects so many things, whether it's gaming or the entertainment industry. Obviously, Apple's a huge, got a huge pull in the market and how their app store runs. So I think what ultimately comes out of this is going to change even the basic of functions on your iPhone, maybe sooner than later. So we'll get into all of that. And, as far as me, I won't be back until the end of the week. I am on vacation. So probably the following week, look for me to maybe officially make my jump to YouTube so we can kind of how it goes through me. And then the Last Choice Network is going to start actually making content on YouTube, and we have a plan, and there might be some hints in this episode of what those plans might be, and you're going to hear who our official team is and what our plans are going forward. I'll be able to announce that next Sunday on the podcast. So as far as me, that's kind of it. Jordyn, thank you so much for hosting, and I'm going to let you take it away, and you and Ender kind of wrap it up.
Awesome. Ender, can you tell us where we can find you? And I'm going to link you in my Twitch really quick.
Cool, thanks. Just Ender Gaming _live on Twitch, Ender Gaming _live on YouTube. Try to keep it the same on both, and that's pretty much it. My schedule right now is all over the place. I have like kind of pop-in streams right now. 2 kids, still trying to get the whole school situation going and homework and all that. So streaming is on the back burner right now, but we should be getting back into it more consistently with more of a gamer news style stream than pure gaming content. So I kind of made the switch just because I want games to continue to be just for fun and not necessarily the main thing. But I'd like to jump more into the gamer news and technology in general. So you'll see some of that coming, especially with streaming gear, different pieces of equipment that I've got around. People have been asking, how to use it. And Jordyn, you were one that was like, hey, you should put that on there. So we're going to give it a shot and see if people like it and move forward. So you might also see that pop up on YouTube as well, maybe following James across that platform to see what happens there.
I think that would be dope with your crispy mic and your awesome voice. I think it'll be amazing. Crispy. Like I said, I did link Ender's Twitch down below. So if you're interested on hearing gaming news, or that crispy mic whenever he's talking about, just streaming technology in general, that would be super dope. I'd appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for all of your love and support, and we can't wait to see you next week.